the days of having to guess where the implant was going to land and having to put your scar lower to get it to settle into the fold, it's like those days are gone.
It's exciting in the next couple of years to just see it transform the United States, how we go about breast augmentation.
So what do you think the biggest change for plastic surgery going to 2025 is going to be?
I'm really excited. I think, in breast and body contouring specifically, and we can talk about phase 2 in a minute, but I think some of the biggest changes coming out are, the 6th generation breast implants by Motiva. They were FDA approved at the end of this year in the early fall. So they've only been out for a couple of months, but I really do think it's going to change the market here. I think it's going to open up opportunities for a lot of women, with the latest technology that they have of their shell, where they actually have a paper they did with MIT showing that the surface technology they have, the 4 microns, has the lowest rates of inflammatory reaction from the body. I mean, the body just doesn't attach to these. And so people who are worried about immune problems and the body really trying to quote unquote reject these is a lot lower than our current 5th generation implants. So I think it's going to be exciting to see how that changes this next year, because I think up till right now, this year, Motiva is really just trying to figure out, get the word out, get it out to plastic surgeons. And so I think next year, a lot more surgeons will have them on hand. I've been using them. I love them. My patients have loved them, and they look phenomenal. And so I think that's exciting. And the second thing for me, I think there are a lot of other technologies coming out that are less invasive. So for patients that are, again, for body contouring, there are things that are like energy-based, whether it's not plasma, but there's now heat-based tightening devices that are coming out in the market. I think there's some other exciting devices. So I think it's going to be a really, really good year for breast and body contouring for sure.
Yeah. So tell me about, because you've had Motiva implants since basically they came out, right? It's like, how many sets of implants from Motiva have you done already?
So I've done, I think, over 20, maybe 20, close to 25 sets. I have 4 coming up on Friday and a couple tomorrow. So I've done quite a few now. And so my experience with them has been, it's been awesome. I think it just, obviously you've used Natrel Cohesive, you've used HSC 107s, you've used Mentor Boost, all those. These are definitely a more cohesive feeling gel. I would say on the order of like a Natrel Cohesive touch, almost even more so. But then they also have the ergonomics, which is a little more like viscoelastic, a little more kind of stretchy feeling. But I've liked them. I think it's a little more, it's different putting them in with a funnel at first. You feel like a little bit more firm. I wouldn't say stiff, but a little more firm in through the pocket. And I think it's super important what I'm learning is you really just got to make a very defined pocket. So I always use sizers for these cases. I never overstretch the pocket and just throw an implant in, because you can have malrotation and stuff with any of these implants nowadays.
Yeah. So I know that you haven't had a lot of long-term follow-up because it's only been a couple months that they've been out. What changes have you made to your practice as far as either aftercare or during the procedure that you feel has been different than either with Santra or Allergan?
I think I kind of anticipated that these implants would be coming out, and I had heard and learned a lot about them. I had been to Costa Rica back in this summer and got hands-on and saw them. And so I'd kind of been adjusting my practice already in terms of, one, like how I'm dissecting my pocket. I've been kind of doing that for the last 2 years because I've switched to a subfascial approach in the last 2 years where I don't dissect the muscle. And if you look at Motiva, a big part of what they push is, breast preservation. And they have techniques that are not FDA approved in the US yet, but they have devices that actually essentially help preserve all the breast structure. And so in my mind, I was like, I love that concept, and I've been trying to work on that on my own for the last 2 years. So I've been doing subfascial, don't go under the muscle, it goes above the pec muscle, attempting to preserve the ligaments of the breast, so not over dissecting. So that's, again, I was talking about using sizers for all my cases. And then I personally use P4HB, I use Galaflex for lower pulse support. The reason I'm doing that, and I've done every Motiva case, so over 20-something cases with a Galaflex, because I really want to see our pocket control. I'm trying to change one variable at a time. Yeah. I think at some point I'll do subfascial with Motiva without the internal bra, see how it goes. But I really love the results I've been getting with the combination of a gummy implant and the Galaflex. So those are the changes that I've made.
Yeah, and with the Galaflex, I feel like I almost never am sad that I used it. But there's plenty of times where I don't have it, where I wish that I had it. So for me, it's like I'm trying to have it for as many cases as I get patients to go for it, because I feel like you get so much better support long term. You're not seeing the implants drop quite as much. You're seeing, the IMF, the fold underneath of the breast is better defined. Your scar stays put. I mean, the days of having to guess where the implant was going to land and having to put your scar lower to get it to settle into the fold, it's like those days are gone with Galaflex, which is a thing of beauty to just have that control. Because back in the day when you had your implant drop and had your scar come out of the fold up onto the breast, is not a great look. So going subfascial, using the Galaflex, it's just an absolute game changer as far as augmentation is, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I think, predictability. I just gave a talk on a couple days ago to a bunch of surgeons in Taiwan about, because they just got P4HB Galaflex in Taiwan. So I was kind of sharing my experience. And I think, if we step back and as plastic surgeons, we say, look, okay, obviously we want the best for our patients, right? But how do we come up with the perfect breast augmentation, And I think we could have like a dream list of like things, like obviously like 100% predictability, no bottoming out, no scars, no complications, perfect, happy patient, right? Like there's all these things, no damage to any structures of the breast. Like there's this wish list that we have, but what can we actually achieve? And I think as we look through that list and we talk about these like newer implants like Motiva, we talk about P4HB support, we talk about new and more innovative ways to really approach the breast in terms of putting an implant in. I really think, again, it's exciting in the next couple of years to just see it transform the United States, how we go about breast augmentation. And I think it's really fun for us as younger surgeons who are like really wanting to adopt this and do it. I think we can be at the forefront of that, but also see our colleagues do it at the same time. I think it's going to be better for all of our patients around the board.